so many technical issues. But anyway, but yeah, so I spoke about my first day, my work, and another thing that I have experienced, the food. Let's get to the food. I know I won't get into detail with it. I haven't eaten a dog. I have not. I know people usually, I don't know where people get this. Oh yeah, on the internet. I don't know which parts of China have places where you eat dogs, or restaurants where you can have a dog, but not in my city, or at least I haven't heard anybody saying that dogs are on the menu. And there have been times where children have seen me and they started crying. There have been times where people would just stare at me. There's a lot of staring that happens, a lot of staring. At first it made me feel so uncomfortable, and I would walk around with my earphones, like with my earphones plugged into my ears, because I was trying to block out the stares, if it makes any sense. I felt like, oh my goodness, they stare. People would stare, and it's a good thing. It can be a good thing because maybe they're curious, but sometimes it can get very annoying. For example, you're having a bad day and you have these people like staring at you. Sometimes there have been instances where people would take pictures of me. They would pretend like they're doing something else on their phone, and then you'd hear the clicking sound of the camera. Sometimes they think that they're being discreet, so somebody would take a phone and be like they're texting, and then you hear click, and like, really? So yeah, those are some of the things that have happened. And I have also experienced people would, let's say a couple is walking, and then somebody would tell the other one, "Oh, look, there's a foreigner." And yeah, it's funny, but sometimes it can be very frustrating and very annoying, but it's funny. I found it funny for a good couple of, now I do. At first I felt really awkward. I felt very awkward about it, but now it's fine. And then when it comes to, what else did I want to talk about? Oh God, I keep forgetting. Oh, let's talk about the clothes. In most cases, people my size, the sizes in China, guys, are different. Totally different from the sizes that I'm used to back home. I will actually put up a picture or something related to what I'm going to talk about now. The clothes, you have to buy at least a size bigger, because in China there's a beauty standard of having slim women and men, I think, but there's pressure on women to look a bit slimmer. So for women's clothing, it's a bit difficult for me to find my sizes, because I would buy something and it arrives, next thing you know, it can't fit me, which sucks. So I have to return it, and it's a whole process now it's a whole mission to get it back to me. And sometimes I just decide to let it go. I'll give it to my little sister. But yeah, so that's what happens. And another thing that I've experienced is having people back home asking me to buy them stuff, and I really don't mind. I don't mind. And what I would do is, since I usually buy things online, if I need something I would buy it online, I would take a screenshot of that and send it back to them, and then tell them what the price would be there. And in most cases people don't get back to me, and in some cases they do, and I get to buy them their stuff. I feel like I have to explain this. I don't do business. I'm not a business person. I don't know how these things work. When it comes to trading, I can try and find out more information and maybe post another video about it, but some people have approached me about asking me how to conduct business in China, how to liaise with the people here, and I don't know. This is China. Everything is made in China. So yeah, that's what usually happens. I would tell the person rather just buy it at home, because in most cases that's what I will do. I will buy things at home, because it's pointless having to buy something here and the currency is totally different, because I can't take from my own money and buy things for everybody. People have wanted shoes, weaves, clothes, bags, and I honestly cannot carry everybody's stuff, because I also have to take my stuff back home, and I have to now pay for my luggage. As I mentioned before, when I arrived in China, I had too much stuff and I had to pay at the airport. Now I will have to pay again, and it's a bit more expensive. People think it's cheap. It's cheap for Chinese people. It's cheap to be in China. If you are in China, it's cheap. But when you have to now take it outside of China, it does cost a bit more. Having to send the stuff back home does cost a little bit more. So that's one thing that people need to watch out for. But obviously some things are cheaper. When there are sales, I do let people know that. Oh, people do ask me if I have experienced, how do they feel about black people? Have I experienced any racism? And honestly, I cannot say I've experienced any racism. Maybe people, like the way that I like to explain it is that some people here are ignorant, and I hate having to excuse people's ignorance, but that's just the reality of it. Some people in China only know what's out there in the media. They don't know the real deal, like the real stuff. So a lot of girls that I've spoken to, a lot of girls that are African girls or black girls have mentioned how Chinese people want to touch their skin to feel if it's real or not. I have not had any of those, but what I have experienced is colorism. I've had instances where people will tell me, oh, you're from Africa. Oh, you're from Africa. Why does your skin look more beautiful than other African people's skin? Okay, as much as one might take that as a compliment, but you can't tell me that my kind of black is more beautiful than other kinds of black. What are you trying to say about other black people out there? And if you know me, now I vouch for, like, don't do those things, don't say those things. I don't find it funny. You cannot tell me that black people are, I'm not going to make this about race, but I'm just telling you guys what I've experienced. You can't tell me that black people, oh, but I've seen some other black people that are really, no. I hate having to excuse ignorance, because some ignorant statements that people make can be hurtful. It can be hurtful. But yeah, that's just about it. And one last thing that I have to add, which is very important, is I've read stories. I told you guys I read people's blogs. I did my research before coming to China. I came across somebody's post who was extremely depressed. They were in some remote city. They didn't know how to speak Chinese, and some people didn't have a translating app or VPN, and some people were really just homesick. You have to mentally prepare yourself before you do this thing. I always say depression can consume you. It can consume you, and you don't have anybody else to rely on here. Fortunately, there are some groups on WeChat, on Facebook, that you can go to, and you can meet new people. You can meet other people from your own country. So I would suggest that what I would recommend is going to Facebook, going on WeChat, and finding groups that have other foreigners. Those people can be a support structure. For me, I was very fortunate to be in a city where we had a close-knit group of foreigners. The people that I met here were extremely nice people from different countries, of course, foreigners from different countries. And South Africans, there are quite a number of South Africans here that, you know, that everybody that I've met who is a foreigner, I regard them now as family, because we would have dinner together, we would do this, we would do that. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. And when it comes to Chinese people can be extremely kind. I am not lying when I tell you guys this. They can be so kind. I'm not talking in terms of giving and stuff. They do that all the time. They have dinners, they invite you for dinner, they do this, they want to give you a gift, a small gift, they want to invite you for dinner, they see that you're foreign and they want to help you. One thing that really stands out for me, one experience that really stands out for me, is one day I was walking to work with a friend of mine, a colleague and friend, and a lady was coming towards us, and we were just gonna cross the road. No, we had just crossed. Okay, anyway, we met a lady near the park, and this lady had a bag full of oranges, and she didn't speak English, but she was so excited to see foreigners that she started giving us all these oranges, and I was so happy. It was really just a kind gesture. It was a kind gesture from her. And there's so many other instances where one day it was snowing and I couldn't get a taxi. So when it snows, there are hardly any taxis, and I couldn't use the app to get the taxi. And a lady came towards me. She walked across and she came to me and she got a taxi for me. She could speak a bit of English and she got a taxi for me. And you know, those are like some examples of how humanity is shown in China. Sometimes people can't communicate with you because they don't know English, but they will try their best to help you out. But you do get in some cases where people are just, they seem rude, they seem mean, or they would just look like they don't like you. I mean, you can also feel the vibes. The vibes are there. You can feel the vibes, they're there. But basically, that is that. I do hope that you guys will take my journey and make it your own, and actually go out and have your own journey.